Hey Mary, how are you?
I am good, Heidi. How are you?
Good. We are back for Stitching Up Trouble, season 2, episode 2. So,
So
welcome back.
I feel so fancy having seasons and episodes and like feels like officially something. So very cool.
And if we can remember, I think we can just say what episode it is at the beginning, and then everybody will know if they've already listened to it or not.
Right. Exactly.
So, well, and you're not in your studio, so where are you at?
I am in a hotel room in Orlando, Florida. I came down here on Sunday. This is Tuesday that we're recording. Shannon from the Common Thread in Dahlonega, Georgia, is attending
Hi,
a
Shannon.
symposium with Karen Montgomery talking about the brown bag mystery that's coming up, and all of that kind of stuff. So she's here at a retreat until Thursday. So I'm kind of hanging out. Dana is also here, so we went to lunch together yesterday and, so I am sewing from the hotel room. I had the hotel bring me an
Mm,
extra table. So I'm
oh,
sewing and Dana is working while Shannon is in the retreat. And then on
mhm.
Thursday, we're going to leave here, drive over to St. Pete's, and we are all attending the stripology partner shop and instructor retreat with Gudrun. So we will be gone until Sunday. So
Oh,
I'm very much looking forward to the stripology one. There's a lot of good new information and techniques and things like that. So I'm excited about that.
hey, you've already inspired me. I've had a stripology ruler sitting here for 5 years, and I've pulled it out more since you started talking about it than I have ever before. So,
Awesome. I love it. I love it.
and I haven't even taken any of the classes or any of the stuff. Sorry,
Well,
I'm falling off my chair.
don't do that. So I am teaching a stripology class retreat at the lodge
Mhm.
starting on the 28th and through the 1st of February or the 2nd of February, and still have a couple spots open for that if anybody needs to know that.
Wants to hop on.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say me, not me. I'll be at doing a show here in Phoenix. We have our biggest. It's a retail show, but it's 10,000 plus people come, and so it's our
that's cool.
biggest show. So I have to
Yeah,
actually, I'm not ready. I have to get ready for that.
yeah. You got a couple weeks.
But I do, but I really should be ordering inventory like today. And I
Yeah.
haven't. I'm kind of dragging my feet. So yesterday was hard. Yesterday was the 5th. It was the first day back to reality.
Mm, yes.
And it was a Monday. It was a doozy of a day. So I
Yeah,
didn't get as much done as I was hoping to get done yesterday. But
yeah.
it is what it
That's
is. We're back to it.
Yep, that's what happens. So in the last podcast, I kinda gave a little tease about my word of the year,
Yes.
and you had never picked a word of the year before. You've never
Mm-mm.
done it
But I
before.
have now.
Alright, I'm excited
No.
to hear it. So, last year, my word was build, and boy, did that work out. I built the new retreat center. We built this podcast together. I built
Yes.
more social media, have more followers there, working on my YouTube channel. I built my knowledge. So I picked a word that I wanted to have multi-purpose for. So building relationships and building my knowledge and building my business. So this year's word of the year is reach. So I want to reach more people with expanding the lodge and the retreat. I want to reach more people, bring them in. I want to reach more people with our podcasts. I want to strive for more knowledge and more talent, I guess, becoming, perfecting my techniques and practicing things. I also want to reach out to more people, like build some more personal relationships and things like that.
That's a
2026
good word.
year of reach. So,
Is a year of reach. Well, I had a hard time with this because if I kept coming up with phrases and I'm like, no, no, you need to come up with a word. So not this is not my word of the year, but I have a mantra that I use all the time. And every time I'm feeling like things are spinning out or I'm out of control, it's like all will be well. That is what I
okay.
say over and over and over. And if somebody tells me something and I'm like, all will be well, that is just what I do. So I kept coming up with those
I
kind of
like
things. I'm
it.
like, no, 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 I need one word. And so my word is deliberate. I'm
Ooh.
going to be more deliberate. I'm going to be more deliberate in what I promise myself to do, what I promise others I will do. I'll be more deliberate in my friendships and the time I get to spend with my friends. I'll be more deliberate in like when I purchase things, do I really need this item?
Very
So
nice.
just not so fly by the seat of my pants, just be more deliberate. So that's my word.
I
So
love it. That's a great one.
thank you for making me think about it.
You're welcome. I reached out to you and made you be deliberate about.
That was very deliberate about the word I picked.
I love it. I
This is
love
like
it.
one of those circles. It's gonna run
It
around in
is.
circles here.
It is. It is. It is.
So yeah. So I do tend to be very just kind of fly by. I just kind of go with the flow, and I think I
Good.
need to be a little more deliberate in that kind of stuff and pay more attention to what I'm doing for my energy resource, my emotional resource, my financial resource, and my time resource.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if I keep telling myself that, I will be better this year. Because last year was a very good year. It was a very, very good year, but it was an insane year. And I just don't want to repeat that. I honestly feel like I aged last year.
I can understand
And
that.
I think that's because yeah, because that stuff will do it to you. So, you
Yeah.
know,
So I
that and
want
I'm
to.
still growing out a really bad
Oh, so I want to reach out of my comfort zone and
yeah,
m- reach for the stars. Keep my roots, but reach for the stars. So I think we're gonna have.
exactly.
I think we're
Well, I
gonna.
think this is a really good place. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What were you saying? I
I
was
don't
gonna say
remember.
this is a really good place to have our people leave a comment. Did you pick a word?
Mm-hmm.
And what is your word? And then we could
I would
check
love to know.
in throughout the year and see
Yeah.
if that word has inspired you to make any changes, big or small.
Yes. Yes. So
All right.
speaking of making changes,
Yeah.
we are going to share our first sewing space organizing challenge, the first step in the
Yeah.
challenge.
The first
So,
step. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, really trying to encourage you to make the most of your sewing space, have it set up so that when you have time to sew, you can actually sew and it's pleasant and fun to be in that space. So,
And I vote for calling it a creative space because we
okay,
may have people listening, sewers,
that
but this
very
goes for
good.
any
I like
creative
that.
space.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Because creative spaces are actually even harder to wrangle than just sewing.
yeah. Yes. Because my
Okay.
like I
So
like to journal and use washi tape and markers and whatever, and that gets mixed in with my sewing stuff, and then the hand embroidery and the cross stitch, and it all kind of gets mixed in. So
see, you have a creative space.
I do.
You have 2 creative spaces.
I do.
No, you have 1, 2, 3. You have 4 creative spaces if you count the
Yes, but I
retreat and the
share two of
lodge,
them. I share two of them with a lot of people.
but that's even more important.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first thing that I would like you all to do when you're looking at your creative space is take before pictures from every angle that you can. Take before pictures. You don't have to share them with anybody. Just put them in a little folder on your phone, and you would be amazed at the difference that you see after just a little while of working on organizing, but you will also see your rooms in a different way if you take a picture of them. Because, like, I kind of become blind to all the stuff sitting around, and then you take a picture of it and you look at it on your phone, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that this was still sitting there, and that's there, and that's there." Taking the before picture is very important.
And take it from me, I did not take before pictures. And now that I am sitting in a very clean, organized space, I'm very sad that I don't have that before picture, if nothing else, to be able to go look at what I accomplished. Like I don't have a way to measure how drastic a change what I
Yes.
just did is.
Yes.
And it's only a drastic change to myself and to Matthew, and it's more a drastic change to me because it was bothering me more than him. But having done that and not have pictures. So do take the pictures. It's really important. It is good to be able to look at it in a different perspective because if you're not, you don't even realize because it builds up over time how uncomfortable you might be in your space
Yeah,
until you like
absolutely.
face the music. Like you said, it's so easy to put the blinders on and not see it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So the next thing, um, is just take a few minutes and, like, sit in your space or be in your space and take note of what is working and what's not working. So, um I really like where my sewing machine is in comparison to where my cutting table is and where my ironing station is. So my little triangle there really works well for me. I like having to get up and stand to do my pressing. I like to get up and stand to do my cutting, and I have it where the lighting is really good. So I don't want to move those things around at all, but there are other things in my creative space that are not working. So
And what, for example, the term is what is the friction spot? Like what is something that you don't do because you have it's a lot of steps to get there. And so running a design studio, every job has friction spots to it. Like I need to do some photography for a client today. I've had to do that photography for 2 weeks and I haven't done it because it requires me pulling stuff out of different places and figuring out where everything is and setting it up. All of those things are friction points. So that's in a work setting. But in your sewing room, do you not do as much machine embroidery because your machine embroidery threads are in a closet, down the hall, and around the corner? And is there something in your space that you could move to that spot to bring closer to you what you need?
exactly,
But
exactly.
you have to mentally prepare before you start moving. That is the one piece of advice I'd give people.
Yeah,
Like, take
yeah,
these pictures, write these lists, and
yes,
really think about what are things I want to do that I don't do because I don't like the way it's set up, or what are things that every time I do it, it's a pain, something falls on me. You know, the thing I want is behind us something else in a drawer and I have to play with
right,
it. Those
right.
are the things you want to start making lists of.
So, for example, your photography that you need to do, if you had it all of the things that you need in one place, like one bin, you bring out
Mm-hmm.
just your photography bin, do your
Mm-hmm.
work, put it all back in that bin and set it aside, that would ease up some of those friction spots. And you might
Exactly,
even
and the other thing is that I'm learning the other thing I'm learning is, like, it does live in different places, but to have a photography bin. Create a bin and say, "This is my walk around the studio, collect my stuff, put it in here, but when I'm done, it all goes back in the bin and then goes put away." So, you know, and that isn't creating a space so much as a system. Like, here is a
right.
system to solve a problem.
Yes. Yes. And if you find yourself always like your cutting table always gets full of stuff that doesn't belong on your cutting table, take note of what gets set on your cutting table and maybe just put a basket there to catch all the stuff that
Mhm.
like, I'll leave patterns out and my rotary cutter and my clips and whatever on my cutting table, and that's fine if I'm cutting something small, but if I wanna cut yardage, I have to figure out where to put all that stuff. But if I have a nice little tray or a basket on the cutting table, it can all just go there, and then you can move that bin, to the shelf or whatever, and then bring that whole thing back when you're done with your big yardage. So, thinking systems like that, where your friction point is, and what things accumulate
And
where. Yes,
these are
exactly.
awesome. From a restaurant supply store, they're like $2. They're serving trays, and I'll have a project on the tray, and you put them up, and then I just keep them under my cutting table so I can pull them up and down as I need. But they're also not so deep as a bin that things
Right,
get left in there. Of
right.
course, now I can't get them back, so I'll deal with that after.
That is brilliant. I really like that. Somebody else that came to retreats does it on, like, cookie sheets,
Yep. Yep.
and then
Same
they're
idea.
magnetic, so she just drops, like,
Mm,
magnets on and the pieces stay, and then she
brilliant.
can put it, out in whatever, so that's
That is brilliant because things will you do have to be careful, like, especially
right.
here with the fans in the summer. the
Right.
pieces would float away. You're
So
like, "I know I cut enough of those. Where did it go?"
exactly. The other thing to look at in your creative space, if you have a specific place for your creativity, look around and
Mhm.
see what has just kind of drifted in there. So I
Yeah,
know if
yeah.
I'm having people over for dinner or whatever, and I do the mad dash around the house, a lot of times stuff just gets hidden in my sewing space because
Mhm.
nobody's going in there. Well, then, then the family starts going, well, I don't know what to do with this. Just put it in this room and this room. And then you have all of these squatters that don't belong in your creative space. So taking a
Right.
picture helps you see all the extra things that are in there that don't belong. So just take a little bit of time to get those things out. So
Well, and
that's
on the same note, different situation is we do have a business. So like I found when I was cleaning this room, I found packaging supplies that we don't even use. Like I bought it, thought we could use it, we can't. It was shoved in a drawer. I found, oh my gosh, tote bags and project bags are like bunny rabbits. Okay.
yes, they
There's
are.
all of them. And so we'll get into the nitty gritty about how to deal with all those. But those things can take up so much room and you don't even realize how much room you're giving up to it. So that was the other thing that to think about is like you only have a set number, you only have this much real estate, this much space. Space is valuable.
Yes.
So when you are looking at what goes into your space, how does the item rate in value for your
Correct.
space?
Right. To
You
what
know,
you're
because I
using.
don't know about you, but I say it, a lot of people say it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I have no space, I need to move somewhere bigger." It's like, "No,
Right.
no, 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 you have no space, you need to downsize, you have to let
Right.
things go."
You need to
Um,
prioritize. So yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
So their homework so is this like their homework to take a picture before and after and to write this stuff out?
yes, yes, yes. This is so we're gonna go into a little bit of the act like the real quote unquote action steps that you're gonna take, but it's very helpful to do a little bit of preparation first. So
Definitely. Definitely. I will tell you, I thought about the rearrange. Now, this was a bigger thing that we did. We moved furniture and rooms and stuff that had to be done. I started thinking about it in the first week of September, and I didn't actually do it till the end of December. So mentally, I was every day I was in that space. I was working in the space. I was thinking about the space, and like it was much easier for me when I actually got to moving stuff because I had already mentally said, this doesn't need to be here. This is something that's gotta be here. I wish like we have a big scale for boxes. Every time I had to use that damn thing to turn on the scale, I had to pick up a pair of scissors and reach across the wide table and use the handle of the scissors to turn on the damn scale. That is a major friction point.
yes it is.
You
Very
know,
much
now it's on a narrow shelf. I can walk over and push the button and my scale is but I had to make mentally say, this needs to change.
yes,
How can
yes,
I change it? And I'm sharing the space with a 6'2" man because he's my partner. So when I do set up things, I have to think about who else is in that space and what do they need, which is
exactly.
another thing to think about if you share your space with somebody
Right.
or your
Exactly.
your space is the dining room table. Then
Exactly.
you got a different set of issues, but you can still go through this and figure it.
Yes.
So, okay.
So
So,
the next thing that I would like you all to do is get a piece of paper, notebook, whatever, and brain dump all of your ideas for your sewing space. All the things that are bugging you, all the things that you love about it, all the things that you wish you had, all the things you wish you didn't. It's kind of like a brainstorm, but it's just getting it all out on paper. And it is like a visual reference then of what actually have I been thinking about, what's been bugging me about the spot, whatever. And then you can go, once you have it all out, you can look at it and go, this thing here is easy to fix. Put a basket on my cutting table so then I can just set it aside when I need the whole thing. Easy fix. So when you see easy things like that, you can go ahead and take care of them. Think about what you want to change in your sewing space or your creative space and look at your list and see what small effort will give you the biggest change.
mhm,
So don't pull out your scrap bin and sort your scrap bin thinking that it's going to fix your whole sewing
right,
space. So
correct.
when my kids were little and they had to clean their rooms, I would say, okay, first get all the garbage out. So
Yeah.
that's the
You declutter first.
right. What belongs in here, what doesn't belong in here, get that all out first. Then pick up all your dirty clothes and get them in the
Mhm.
laundry, and then pick up all the big toys. So don't pick up and sort all your teeny tiny Legos that are laying all over the floor. Pick up all the big
Right.
stuffed animals and get them off the floor, and it'll make a huge difference,
Right.
you know. So if you have 5 minutes, take care of the big things. So that's what I want you to do is think about what small changes can we make that'll have the biggest impact.
Yeah, or we call them big wins.
Yes.
Quick
Yes.
wins, quick win, quick wins.
Quick
So,
yes.
and then the other thing is, like, you do not have to approach this as a major project. You could say, "I'm gonna take 10 minutes today. I'm gonna get the basket on my cutting table and put everything in the basket, and that's all I
Exactly.
gotta do today." And then the next day, but yeah, but don't get hung up on the small details. Look at the big
Right.
picture. What
We're
can
s
I
Yeah.
declutter and get out of here? Like, is there furniture in the room that you keep tripping over? Like my poor friend, she has, I don't think she does anymore, but she had a Murphy bed in there. She had a bicycle, a stationary bike or a treadmill or something in there, and it was this little tiny room. Like 2/3 of the room was furniture, and she had to live with it for a little while, but now she's at a point where she could get some of it out of there. But if you're in a position where I wanna get this out, but I can't, then you go, "Okay, how if I'm not strong enough to move that stationary bike, what are the steps I have to do to get rid of the stationary bike?" Do I have to get a neighbor to help me? Do I have to call 1-800-JUNK? You know, but until you actually make it a goal and then
Right.
steps for the goal, it's not gonna happen. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
and brain dumping is great. Brain dumping, I do it all the time. I'm trying to
Mhm.
do it once a week. I
Mhm.
might do it once a day, but brain dumping is a really good thing because once it's out of your head, you look at it and then you can draw a line through the things that are not really important, and then they're
Exactly.
gone.
Right.
They're out of the
Exactly.
head, they're on the paper, and you draw a line. But don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Like when you're learning to quilt, do not start with a king size quilt. So if you are not an organizer or you don't do this kind of thing all the time, do not create this humongous mess
Yes.
and then yell at Mary and I for helping you create it.
So that is kind of the overview and how we're going to approach our sewing space organizing challenges, our creative
Mhm.
space organizing challenges throughout the year. So we're going to come up with things that we are working on, and we meaning I, because Heidi's already done it all in her.
Well, see, that's the thing about organizing, it never stops. Like, now that I have the space the way I like it, I have to constantly maintain it.
Yes. Yep.
So that's a whole
So
nother layer to this.
so I am going to be working on getting my space the way I like it, the way I want it to be. And looking around my creative space at my studio, there's a lot of things that I want to change. I did brain dump a little bit, but I started mine with my UFOs and my whips, my works in
Yeah, that's a
progress.
big one because if you let some of that go, you gain space.
Correct. And so I looked at my surfaces and I have multiple projects that I'm working on. I have a 3 project rule for myself, and I have been breaking that for the last couple of months. I have like a new leader under project that I
Welcome to,
started. Right, to
welcome to
teaching
class
and
samples
yeah.
and, teaching.
Exactly. So my cutting surface was full because I was trimming blocks and cutting out another quilt, and this was so I have a lot of works in progress out and active. So going through my UFOs and my current projects, I felt like was going to be the biggest impact for me. So
Mhm.
that's the thing that I'm starting with, and it also, um, not only helped me clear the surfaces, but also decide what direction I wanna go in over the next month or so. What projects are priorities? Like, my Leader Ender project is not a priority. It's just a, here or there kind.
Ongoing.
So I don't need to get that finished, but my stripology class samples are priorities, and a couple of samples for the shop are priorities. So it helped me get things in order. So to start out, the first thing you should do is set a timer. Work
Mhm.
for a short period of time. If you're kind of rusty at this and you're like, I don't know, just set a 15-minute
Yeah.
time. Work for 15
Yeah.
minutes and then go do something else. Next time you have a few minutes, set another timer. I set a timer for an hour the other day. I went through, cleared off those surfaces, figured out what was what, put away some of the projects that were not a priority, just
Mhm.
kind of did that. So set a timer, make sure you take breaks. This is not a marathon, or this is not a sprint, it is a marathon.
Mhm.
And, you know, be kind to yourself. This is supposed to be something that improves your life. This is not supposed to be like this major stressful project or anything. Oh,
Well, and using UFOs and whips as an example, the one thing that I did was I had them all over the place. I had them squirreled away, and I ended up putting them all together. And then because for me, I wanted to know what I had.
mhm,
I wanted to know what I had in each craft because I do a million different crafts.
right.
And I
Yep.
also wanted to know how much space it was gonna take, and then once I got to see what I had, I was also able to say, if I have zipper pouches for each project, I could put them up like a book. Will all of these projects fit in the containers I'm choosing to store my whips in? Or like quilt projects, I love those 12 by 12 scrapbook boxes you can get from Michael's that has a closing lid. I like those because you can also stack those up like a book on a shelf. Anything you can put vertical gives you
Yeah,
more space. So, but I had to pull all mine together and then go through it, and now I have them separated by, like, wool, this is cross stitch, this is needlepoint, this is sewing, and that is a big thing because also when you get all of the things in one spot, you can see how many you have.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And
Like,
then you
I do
can
not need to buy any kind of craft kit at all for, like, 20 years.
so so that is a good thing to do. I like the getting them all together, or at least knowing where all of them are. Um,
Mhm.
as you pull them out, I had questions that I asked myself. I have most of mine stored in those scrapbooking bins, like you said. So I pulled them all out. I opened them up one at a time, looked at them. Do I, one question, do I want to or need to finish this? If the answer is no, think about getting rid of it.
Right. Or passing it forward.
Correct. Do I remember what I planned on doing with this project? So I pulled out
Mhm.
probably 3 or 4 bins that I had fabric in. Like, you could tell it was a set of fabric. I had a plan for it, but I had no note in there whatsoever. I had no idea what pattern I was going to do. Like,
Right.
no plan. So that fabric gets reintegrated into the stash, and that is no longer a UFO or a whip. And then to your point, do I have the space to keep all of these things? Like,
Mhm.
I have a shelf I can fit 20 bins on, for example. That's just a number I'm pulling out of my head.
Right.
Project number 21 will not
No
fit.
judging.
Project number 21 won't fit on that shelf. So you put your favorite projects on first, the ones that you are going to finish, the ones that you need to finish, the ones that are a priority. And then number 21, the last one on there, sorry, dude, you don't fit on my shelf. You have to go. And there's no emotions or whatever. You're not the bad guy. It's the shelf. The shelf will not let you keep it. So,
Well, and with a system like that, it also inspires you to finish them because we all like buying new projects.
yeah,
If you know you have 20 containers and they're all full, you need to finish one before you can get another one to put on there. So
exactly.
so that is a very good system. And that's the thing, like everybody has to find the system that works for them.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
some people love living in the chaos. They thrive in it. That's how they're creative. This isn't your podcast. We'll do one next week you can listen to. But the rest of us, we just we're a society of stuff and we're
Yeah.
swimming in it. And it's like
Yeah.
craft is even worse because
Yeah.
we are the people that look at anything and everything and say we can fix it, we can make it, we can do something with it.
Right.
And so
Exactly.
then we hang on to things that non-creative people will let go.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that in my studio, and my rule when I was cleaning, if you found it and it was broken, either fixed it right then and there, you found out who could fix it right then and there, or I gave it away. Gave it to someone else to figure out how to fix.
Right. Yeah.
So,
So, but again, this does not have to be done all at once. So
mm-mm,
I took
no.
1 hour
I
and
don't
cleared off.
recommend it having just done that.
No, no. I took 1 hour and cleared off my surfaces, and then I'm about 3/4 of the way through my UFOs and my whips. So I'm not done yet. I had to pack up and drive to Orlando. But when I get back to it, I already have, I think I have 3 quilt kits that I know I will not do, that are going to get put out at a free table on one of the retreats or handed to somebody else. I found 2 bins with fabrics pulled for a project, but I have no idea what the project is. So, those are set aside for the next time I go through, and if I can remember what they were, then I'll put a note in there, and if I can't remember, then I'm, gonna get rid of those. So, then the next thing I'm going to do is put them in, like, some sort of order. So, this is almost done, the blocks just need to get assembled into a quilt top. This is the blocks need to be pieced, they're cut out, so I can pull one from this end of the shelf so that it's a quick win for me and I can finish it up. So
Well, and then on that note, because that's a good way to do quilting projects. I think that's great to do it by like progress. But like if you're doing handwork, found I do have it separated, like, in progress and want to do. I do have that separation, but then what I did is I separated them. If there's any holidays, I marked them and separated them by holiday because it's January, I don't wanna finish the Christmas cross stitch I was working on. I
right.
wanna work on a Valentine cross stitch. So the Christmas cross stitch that I swore I would finish is gonna go back in, but it'll be marked as Christmas, and I'll pull it out, like, in September. So that was another, like, just a little quickie thing is to, like, mark holiday themed or seasonal things, just mark them with a label or something so that when it's August, September, and you guys are thinking, "Oh, I wanna start fall projects," you can go in and say, "Oh, I have one started, let me just finish this." 'Cause I do that all the time. I start themed projects and then I never finish them. I have one it's a Biscone, it's like a little pincushion. I
Yeah,
did all of the I did everything on it. Alls I have to do is sew one more outline and put it together. I've had it for 2 years unfinished. So,
yeah,
now it's at the top of the Christmas one, so next year when I'm
there
like,
you
"I
go,
feel like working on Christmas," I will pull that out.
there you go.
Finish the dang thing.
Yeah, get her done.
So, theming it, figuring out what's the best way to get your projects in order is a good one.
Yeah. So, um So my goal in going through my works in progress, especially at the beginning of the year when, I've got my word of the year, I have my list of things that are my goals for the year. So taking a little bit of time to get things in order, just realizing which projects do I want to work on? Which ones am I excited about working on? Which ones do I have to finish? Is this a gift for somebody? These are priority. And then which ones can you just let go? So let them
Mhm.
go. Going through your projects, I have projects that are techniques that I absolutely hate and I don't want to do them. And there's no need to do them. So they're going away and somebody else can do those projects.
Well, that's the paper piecing project that I did 9 months of. I don't like doing paper.
Yeah,
I can't. It's like it's torture to me. And I'm like, "You know what? I thought Mary said she loved paper piecing, so guess who's getting a
absolutely.
whip?" But yes, it's exactly it. It's
I'm
like,
good with
if
it.
this is your hobby, don't do something you don't like.
Right, right, and it's okay, you tried it, you took the class, you learned the technique. If you don't like doing the technique, get rid of it. It's okay. Like, this is supposed to
Exactly.
be enjoyable and fun and whatever. So, another thing to look at is what can I finish quickly? We talked about this a little bit, but what can I get done so I can get a quick win? So, for the longest time, I made these little, I think they were called fold it, hold it bags, and they were made out of, like, 2 different squares, and you sewed them together and folded them this way or whatever, but they were little drawstring bags. So I had all the sewing done, all I had to do was
Mhm.
put the drawstring through, and they sat there for probably 8 months. Like,
Yeah.
just finish those, get things like that out and finish them.
Well,
And
and if
then
you're gonna gain a bin that you can add a new project to.
exactly, exactly. Get some of those things out of there. Then also look at the ones that you already have all the supplies for. So if you have, if it's a hand embroidery piece and you already have the frame that you're going to put it in and all of that kind of stuff, move that up the line to get finished first. If you have a quilt top that you're working on and you already have the binding and the backing for it, move that to the front so that you don't have to purchase more things to actually finish those projects. So,
Exactly.
those are the things that I'm trying to keep in mind as I prioritize which projects I'm going to work on first. I don't have the whole year planned out, I'm not gonna do that, but I have the next 3 or 4 that I'm working on that are priorities, so, and then
Well, and the other thing is I recommend not everyone wants to do this, but I recommend I wrote everything down. I have a notebook now with my projects and it has in progress or to start and I write it down. And so now I don't only have to paw through the cabinet, I can just pull out the notebook and go, what do I have for Christmas projects or what is next on my list? Then you don't have to schedule it so much, but you don't have it's a lot easier to see, especially when you write it out. Good Lord, I had 2 pages of projects.
yeah,
And I didn't get rid of them, that's bad, but at the same time, by having it written down in front of your projects or with your projects, then you can just
exactly.
it's like a catalog, you can open it up and say, "What do I feel like working on today?"
So, I have a
So
notebook cover that some very sweet ladies made me when they came for a retreat, and it has one of those composition books in it. So,
huh?
there's page 1, there's page 2, and I stopped. I don't have anything on page 3 yet, but I can fill another page with the quilting projects. But you're right, just having them
Oh,
all down makes a big difference. It's like the visual reminder, and crossing them off that you
without
finished
having
them
to
or whatever is
yeah.
fantastic. So,
Well, yeah, I write things down just to cross it off, like, on my
yeah,
to-do list. If it's
yeah,
not on my list and I just did it, I write it on my list and then cross it off because it's like, I did it, I get to do that cross off.
exactly.
So but it
So,
also is just it's just an easier way to visualize what you have and what you want to do, you know? Now the hard part is to every time you bring in a new project, add it to that list. I have yet to manage that.
yeah, yeah,
Every year I go in and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta redo inventory and check what I
yeah.
got because I haven't kept this up all year because I don't wanna be accountable for it."
Wow, it's a very good point. Yeah. So, speaking of being accountable, my last point is once you've taken the time and gone through your projects and kind of have an idea of where you're at, make up some rules for yourself to hold yourself accountable. And only you can make these rules up. And, I'm not going to do like a hard and fast, this is what you must do. But my plan for myself is to finish 3 projects before I'm allowed to start another one. So,
But not you can still buy it, you just can't start it.
well, I shouldn't buy it either. So you should.
You shouldn't, but you're not making that part of the rule because you don't wanna make
No,
life not
no, but I mean, I could make it part of the rule, and I might think about it,
Mhm.
but Shannon has so much cool fabric coming in. The new lines that she put in the common thread over Christmas, I went in there
Yeah.
the day before they opened back up, and I helped cut some kits of some of the new fabrics in there. Yeah. So, but, like,
So, Mary, you can borrow my word and be deliberate in what you buy.
deliberate. I think that's a good idea. I should probably
Created a
not
monster.
I should probably not reach for all the new fabric that Shannon has, but just a little bit of it, so
Here's a little wisdom from the woman who's been dealing with fabric collections in mass for 30, well, 25 years. There's always another cool collection right behind it. Because I was like that. I would buy everything and anything, or like they would send me collections to design with. I'm like, oh, I got to get my hands on some of that for me. And I have now donated my stash 4 times
mhm,
because I don't get to use my stash. I'm not a normal sewer. But I
right.
can tell you that the most adorable Halloween collection that you see this year, next year, there's going to be another adorable Halloween collection. So,
Very true.
once you learn that, it's a
Yeah,
little easier to
yeah,
rein
it is,
in, but
it is, but, um,
everything that comes around goes around, I guess is what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you will stuff again. So,
So, I had my goal one of my goals for last year was to finish 25 quilts, and
did
I
you do
did.
it?
I did, I did. I
Yeah.
got 25 of them done. So, my goal for this year is 26. So, gotta
Overachiever.
gotta reach, gotta keep reaching.
Well, you got to reach, but you also have to ask yourself, were you finishing quilt 25 on December 31st? Or did you have the room to
Oh,
shove a 26?
I had the room. I had the room.
Okay. Then reach away, baby. Just don't overtax yourself.
Yeah. So I hope this was helpful. This is our first challenge. So take the
Yep.
month of January to look at and evaluate your creative space, look at and
Mhm.
evaluate and prioritize your UFOs and your whips, and let us know how that goes.
Yep.
And
Or if you're a slow and deliberate person, just brainstorm. Just write down, what do you want to accomplish? Because I will tell you, there will be people out there that are like, we're inspiring them and they're going to rip the room apart
yeah,
and
don't
they
do
are
that.
not going to like it. They're
This
not
is
going to like
no,
us.
do not do that. This is a year-long process.
Yeah.
15 minutes here and there just to start what's going to improve my sewing space or my creative
Hmm.
space now. What are the big things? Small things I can do that have a big impact. And you're just going to look for those. And all we want you to do for the month of January is look at your space and evaluate it and go through your works in progress if you want to. And then
Or you may pick a different whole category.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
maybe thread is the thing that's making you crazy. Maybe you have more thread than you know what to do with. There's boxes of it sitting around, and you need to figure out a system of like, where can I put thread? Where can thread live so I can get to it easily? So, I mean, we're starting with works in progress. I think that's a nice, easy win. A
Mhm.
lot of the times, even
Yeah.
if it sounds scary, just remember nobody's telling you to get rid of anything. But getting it organized, you may end up letting some things go.
Yeah, just knowing what you have, it's really easy to forget what you have.
It's so
Absolutely.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, well, here's the running joke. I went through and I thought I gathered up all of the works in progress and I did all of this and I'm done. I am done because I my life has started work again. And the other day, this whole cabinet has these bins in it. And there's some bins that are tucked behind the machine. And I look down, one says bag kits.
Oops.
I didn't look in it. So guess what? Those aren't on my list and they probably need to get pulled out and put onto the list if nothing else. But for me, it's like, okay, it's not perfect. I will at some point this couple months pull that out and go through it.
Yep.
But again, it's not a
Yeah,
hard and fast
yeah.
system.
But
But yeah, I
setting
was
a
little discouraged.
set a timer for 15 minutes, I bet you can get it done. You'd be
I can,
surprised
but
what you can get done in 15 minutes.
here's the friction part of it, and the reason it didn't get found or is that it is in the bottom, and I have to move the sewing machine, the table, and then get to the bin.
Yeah, don't do
So it's
that.
not accessible. So
Yeah, don't
it
do
was
that.
accessible. If you've seen the Janome M17s, this thing is like a freaking car sitting on a table. It is heavy as hell.
It's
And I
huge.
moved it twice in this cleaning thing, and I'm like then I saw the bin with the bag kits, and I'm like, I can live with a bin of extra bag kits that I'm not gonna touch this year.
Yeah,
They're just gonna live down there.
that's fine. That's fair. That's fair. We can circle back to that. So
We'll circle back. You know what? It's not hurting anybody. It's out of the way, and
exactly,
it's not getting dusty, so we're happy.
exactly, exactly. All
Oh my
right.
gosh.
So leave us
Well, that was a
comments.
lot of food for thought.
Yeah, yeah. I promised the next podcast will not be as bossy. So
It's easy for me to sit back and let you be bossy because I've already done it.
yeah, yeah,
But I can tell you, do not recommend trying. I mean, I did it for 2 weeks, got up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was doing it till 6, 7 o'clock at night for 2 weeks straight. That is because of the way my life is, and that was the only
yeah.
time I could do it. I don't recommend people do that because one, it's hard on your body, and mentally, every time you look at something, you are making a decision, and you will get decision fatigue, and then you will get overwhelmed, and then you will stop. Unless you're like me and you're just a masochist and you just torture yourself. So,
No, we
follow along with Mary's steps. We're gonna do Mary's method. It'll be a lot more healthy for
I
everybody.
hope so. Well, we want you to be enjoy being in your space, and that's really the goal.
Mhm.
So, that
Yeah.
is the goal.
And not
Alright.
feeling guilty or overwhelmed. I mean, how good would it feel to go to a shop and buy a project and know that you have a place at home to put it? You
Pretty
know,
good. Pretty good, yeah.
that'll help. So, all right, I keep interrupting Mary trying to say goodbye.
Well, we're just so excited this is our first one of the new year, right? No, we did one. This
Well,
is episode
it's the second.
2.
The second. The first one we filmed in 25, but it aired in 26. So,
Correct.
yeah. I know
These
podcast time is funny.
It is. It is. Oh, well, it was
All
good
right.
to see your face again, Heidi. Thank you for jumping on, and thank you everybody for
Thanks.
tuning in. Um, Next podcast, I'll come back with an update on what I learned at the stripology retreat. What have you got coming up this week?
I have 4 quilts to get done in a week and a half for my newest boutique line.
All right.
So, which you guys, it won't even be in stores till spring of 27. Yeah. But so I'll
That's a
be
long
sewing
wait.
away and I will let you know if I use my, huh?
That's a long
What'd
wait.
you say?
That's a long
It
wait.
is. Yeah, it
All right.
takes 2 years from start to finish. And one of the podcasts will go over how to do batiks, but I will let you know in the next one if I use my stripology rulers to cut these out and if they speed up my whole process.
All
So,
right.
all right, well, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you are interested in all the organization thing because we're heading down that road and we hope you want to come with us. And if not, let us know of other topics you want to hear. So, and we will see you in the next one.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.